Hi there, my name is Jen. Welcome to the Fit 15 Challenge. Today's challenge is going to be glutes. We're going to do 15 minutes of glutes, and you don't need any props to do it. You just need your yoga mat. Make sure your space is safe and cleared out, and always go at your own pace. Okay, we're going to get started lying down on the mat. We're going to come onto our right side to start. So right side to start, okay, our head can lay down on our bottom arm, shoulders away from the ears. I want your tailbone out back behind you. So the feeling is that your bum is out back behind you and that it feels like it's wide, okay? So the sits bones feel wide, tailbone back out behind you. We're gonna start by just lifting our top leg and lowering it down. Okay, lifting it on up and lowering it down. Breathing in, our eyes are forward, and our head is back. Mine wasn't, mine was forward. So try to think as if you have a wall behind you and you're smushing your head, your ribs, and your bum up against that wall, okay? So always going back to that tailbone and that pubic bone, thinking about the feeling in our bum cheeks. This seems pretty easy right now. Don't worry, we're gonna add on, okay? It will be excruciating. Hips do not need to move. So obviously we think about our hips, and at the top height of that thigh bone lifting up, our hips don't get to rock into the top waist, so there's none of this action, right? There's none of this kind of collapsing with the thigh bone coming towards the breastbone. It's simply the thigh bone coming up towards the ceiling. Good. We lift the bottom waist off the mat. So lifting it, engaging it, but keeping our ribs down and our hips stacked, okay? So engagement through our core to lift and lower helps us stabilize the pelvis back out behind us as we lift and lower that top leg. Excellent. Next little point I'm going to say is that the knee needs to be facing straight in front of you. So you can look down. Is your knee opening and closing like a clam? I don't want clam. I want it just lifting and lowering. Good. You should feel side bum into hip. Yep. It's taking a couple of reps, but there it is. And we're going to go for 5, for 4, for 3, good, for 2, one more. Now we're going to come halfway down and up. So we're going to hold it up at that height, untuck the tailbone, lift the oblique off the mat. Now we come halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up. The position of our pelvis and our upper body is important for what's working to lift and lower that leg. Good. We're going to take that tailbone, shoot it back out behind us for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should feel something, okay? Even though it's easy, it's working. Excellent. From here, now we clamp. So we're going to open our knees and close our knees. Open and close. Tailbone back behind you. Lift the ribs a little bit back. So you're thinking, my rib cage can't be pointed forwards. My ribs need to be kind of pushing back behind me. But that doesn't affect how my tailbone is still out back behind me, right? So I move my ribs back, but my tailbone stays shooting back behind me as well. Top hip doesn't move as I open and close my legs, and really I don't care how high I open that knee. What I care about is the thigh bone opens and closes. My hips don't shift to help it open and close. So everything around my thigh bone stays still. So my pubic bone and my hip bone stays still. Good. We're going to go for 4. This is a different feeling. 3, this is more back of bum. 2, good. 1, halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up. It's not fast, it's half the distance. Good. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent, okay? So feeling that side bum is working. Extend the leg out. It should feel good to straighten the leg. Bottom leg stays bent. Okay, we think about that little space now. It's a little bit bigger from the mat and oblique. And I'm going to lift that leg up and I'm going to lower it on down. I'm going to lift the thigh bone up and I'm going to lower it all the way down. So as I lift, again, I'm feeling for any movement in my hip. And my hip is moving just a little. I don't want my hip to move. I want my thigh bone to lift. So sometimes you have to slow it down. Yep. To make sure that that top hip does not move. Oh my God, I'm shaking. Good. We're going to go for 4. We're going to go for 3. Good. For 2. Good. 1, lift it up. Now make sure the leg is not working at the front. If it is, send the leg back behind you a little bit so that your leg isn't too far forward and it's lined up with the hip. Okay, from here you're gonna point your toe and flex your foot for me. Point your toe, flex your foot, point and flex. Keep the leg lifted. Okay, keep the hips stacked. Keep the oblique off the mat. Pull the belly button in. Excellent. We're point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Okay, I'm gonna flex my foot. I'm gonna rotate my thigh bone towards the ceiling and then down towards the floor. Towards the ceiling and down towards the floor, but nothing moves. My pelvis doesn't move, my pubic bone doesn't move, my belly button doesn't move, okay? Everything stays really still. I'm stirring the upper thigh bone in the hip socket for 4, for 3. Which direction feels harder? 2, towards the ground. It feels like I can't do it. 1, lower the leg down. Good, okay? So hips are on. We're gonna do one more variation here. We're gonna lift it back up. We're gonna point our toe. We're in a circle, okay? So we're gonna circle the whole leg, but nothing is gonna move. So we're gonna do the slowest circles you've ever done. We're gonna sweep it forward, slow, but I don't break. There's no breaking, right? So my waist doesn't change, my pelvis doesn't change. It's my thigh bone moving forward, hip flexor quad is on, lift sideways, up towards the ceiling. Hips don't move, okay? Waistline stay long, and then down towards the ground. So we're circling the leg bone, but there's no movement in our hips, in our waist. Slow it down. Do one more this direction as slow as possible. Lifting up, coming back, hamstring glute to bring the leg back. Good. And then we're going to go the opposite way. Lift up, come forward, lower down, okay? Kick back, so hamstring glute to kick back, but the pelvis doesn't move. Lift up, don't collapse the waist, lower down, one more. Swing back, up and around. Good. Excellent. So you're going to bend the knees, you're going to massage your bum. We're going to come back up onto our knees. We're going to reach our right arm up and over and do a small little side bend. Back to center, left arm up and over, small little side bend. Cross your arms across your chest. We're going to just rotate our rib cage one direction and the opposite. So our hips don't move, our legs don't move. It's just the ribs. Take a deep breath in. Expand the rib cage when you breathe, and let's do the opposite side. Come on down. So laying down on our left side, our right leg is bent. Feet are flexed. Tailbone's back out behind me. Okay? Feeling like your bum is wide. Okay? So push the bum back. Okay, we're lifting that oblique off the mat. We're lifting that top leg up and lowering it on down. Okay, so you can come all the way down. For me, I like to lift and I like to open. That's no good. I don't want to open. I want my leg bone to come straight away from the midline and then back down. So thinking as if there's a tray of something on my leg, I need to balance that tray as I lift my leg away from the midline. And that changes it for me, okay? That actually works way better if I think about balancing something on my leg to find the side bum and hip area. My tailbone on this side likes to tuck under a little bit, so I need to keep it shooting back behind me to keep that feeling of a wide sit bone, okay? Good. We're going to go for 8, 7, 6, there it is, 5, 4, keep the knee from rotating towards the ceiling, 3, 2, 1. Halfway down and up, halfway down and up. It's not fast, it's just half the distance. Then I need to think tailbone out back behind me. Aha, there it is. I'm on fire for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Good, okay? Stack the feet, open and close. And it's that thigh bone that gets to open, but the hips don't get to move. Tailbone back out behind you, sits bones are wide. Good, low belly in, oblique off the mat. Don't let the upper body and the core disengage. They stay engaged the whole time. And think about pulling things in gradually and gently. It doesn't have to be a tight pull, okay? But they need to be on. Good, hip doesn't move, thigh bone opens.
feeling more back to side bum, not quite the hip. We're gonna go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up. For 5, shoulders away from the ears. 4, 3, oblique off the mat. 2, 1. Good. Tiny little break. Holy moly. Straighten the leg out. Should feel good to straighten the leg. Okay, lift the leg up. Core engaged. Belly button in. Hips are stacked. Point and flex the foot to start. Point and flex. 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 Now move the leg bone back in space. There we go. So the leg bone isn't out in front of you. It's lined up with the hip. And for me, I need to move my leg back, but make sure my hips stay stacked. So I'm not moving everything back, right? Just the thigh bone back. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Side bum is still working. Why? Because your leg is lifted away from the midline. Point and flex, point and flex. Your shin is working, your feet are working, your ankles are working. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. From here, you're going to flex the foot. You're going to rotate the thigh bone down towards the ground, and then you're going to rotate it up towards the ceiling. Rotate it down towards the ground, up towards the ceiling, but your hips don't get to move. So hips stay really still. Right now, my top waist is a little bit smushed, right? So I need to lift the bottom waist up off the mat. As soon as I did that, I feel more because my pelvis is in a more neutral position. My hips are better stacked when that oblique is off the mat. Good. For 3, for 2, rotate the thigh bone. 1. Oh my God, I need a break on this side. Take a break, and then we're in a circle. Slowest circles ever done. Okay, you can point the foot or flex the foot, doesn't matter. Bring it forward, bring it up, bring it back. Oh my goodness, and down. Whoa, 3 more, okay? Leg comes forward, but I don't break in the waist. Pelvis doesn't move. Tailbone stays back up behind me a little bit, right? Stays exactly where it needs to stay. It's the thigh bone that moves around, not the pelvis. Hips don't get to move. Waistline stays long on both sides. 1 more. You can always fix it, right? Good, okay? We're going to swing back, hamstring, squeeze it, bum cheek, big glute max, squeeze the bum cheek, then lift the leg back, up and around. Good, okay? Swing the leg back, hamstring, glute, pelvis doesn't move, hips are stacked. Hips don't move as you lift towards 12 o'clock, then swing it forward 1 more time. Leg bone is nice and long, toes are pointed or flexed, doesn't matter. Okay, and then down. Excellent. Bend the leg, kind of massage the bum. Good. Okay, we're going to come back up onto our knees. Okay. We're going to do an advanced, because our glutes are warm, we're going to do an advanced leg lift with a side bend, okay? So if you need a pillow for this, you can always grab one. So you might want to hit pause and grab a small pillow. I'm going to do it without the pillow. The pillow is just a prop for underneath your hand, okay? So coming into tall kneeling is challenging in itself, but you're going to think about pushing into the feet in the calves, or the shins, excuse me, to bring the pelvis forward a little bit. So squeezing our bum cheeks together, hamstrings are on. We're going to do a little side lean, and as we lean to the left, we're going to kick out the right leg, okay? Coming on down. I'm going to come down onto my palm, my hand is underneath my shoulder, my hips are stacked, and I'm going to start to lift and lower the leg, okay? When I look down, my left leg is underneath my left hip. When I'm lifting and lowering, I'm thinking nice long waistlines, okay? One of them is going to be a little bit crunched, but that's okay. There's a short waist and there's a long waist, okay? Making sure that that crunched one isn't too smushed, okay? You're not collapsing with your rib cage. I'm still lifting and lowering that top leg. Low belly in, hips stay stacked, bum cheeks towards each other. Now, what I need to think about is a supporting leg. My thigh bone needs to come up underneath my hip a little bit more. So my glute on the bottom leg needs to work a little bit harder. Good. We're going to go for 3, 2, 1. Lift it up. Halfway down and up. Halfway down and up. Halfway down and up. Halfway down and up. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Good. Switching sides. Excellent. Okay. Coming on up. Actually, we'll come straight up first. Bum cheeks on. We're doing a side bend, so we lift our rib cage up. As the hand comes down, extend the top leg. Hand comes underneath the shoulder. Top leg is long. Okay, supporting leg is underneath the hip, but notice how there's a crease here. I need to move my pelvis forward by pulling my thigh bone up underneath that hip socket a little bit. So I'm not losing a little curve in my low back. I'm not shooting my pelvis so far forward that that little curve is gone. The little curve stays there, okay? So be mindful that you're not overextending your low back, okay? Shoulders away from the ears, lift and lower that top leg. Bottom bum cheek squeeze towards the middle, okay? To help stabilize that pelvis. We're gonna go for 5, 4, hips don't move as you lift that thigh bone, okay? So there's no crunching of the top waist. 3, 2, hold it up. 1, shoulders away from the ears, halfway down and up, halfway down and up. No movement except the thigh bone. The thigh bone moves, but the hips stay still. For 4, bum cheeks on. 3, good. 2, 1, lower it on down. Excellent. Well, I hope you felt your bum working today. I'm gonna come back in a child's pose just to give it a little bit of a concentric stretch. Okay, head goes down, arms go down by the feet, breathe in. Coming onto hands and knees, coming up, rounding into cat, and then extending just a little bit. Round one more time, and extend. Great. Enjoy the rest of the challenge. Have a great day. Bye.